Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, ever merciful, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, I begin with the Islamic salutation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. On behalf of our community, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA, I'm honored to welcome all of you on this holiday weekend. You took a lot of time out of your schedule, your busy schedule this weekend to be here. It means the world to us. Welcome to our 38th West Coast USA Jalsa Salana, or annual convention. Jalsas like these are held all over the world in a tradition in our community that dates back to 1891. When the first Jalsa was held in Qadian, India, with 75 people. Now there are more than 100 Jalsas all over the world, which draws hundreds of thousands of Ahmadi Muslims throughout the year. And in the United Kingdom, the largest Jalsa internationally attracts some 50,000 people. Our community, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, is the oldest active Muslim organization in America, having been established here in an organized manner in 1920. And here on the western United States, the West Coast, this is our second Jalsa, our West Coast Jalsa. Our national Jalsa was held earlier, the 4th of July weekend in Richmond. And our presence here on the West Coast began in the early 1970s. And now we have more than a dozen chapters here in the Western United States. And many members this weekend came from numerous states, over 20 states actually, to be here. This mosque, Baitul Hameed Mosque, for some of you, and I was talking to some of our esteemed speakers who will be coming up here shortly, saying that this is the first time they're visiting the mosque. So welcome to Baitul Hameed Mosque. This mosque is San Bernardino County's largest mosque. With the addition of our 6 acres in the back, which is a recent purchase, it now occupies a very prominent role in our community here for 4 decades. As was mentioned by our keynote speaker, Abdul Latif Balanta, a unique feature of our community, what separates the Ahmadi Muslim community from other Muslim communities is this leadership structure that we refer to as Khilafat, a spiritual caliphate. And Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad is our spiritual Khalifa, our leader, our guide, a guide to tens of millions of Ahmadi Muslims all over the world. His directives, as was mentioned, are aimed at fostering absolute justice, human welfare, and social harmony. I'll just give you one quote, a recent quote that His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad mentioned. You know your Creator when you love His creation. You know your Creator when you love His creation. If everyone practices this teaching, there will not be any enmity in anyone's heart, and that is how you achieve peace in the world. Under Hazur's leadership, we refer to him as Hazur, a dear one, affectionately so. So children all around that you'll meet, everyone here will use the word Hazur in reverence to our beloved leader. Under his leadership, our community has now inaugurated thousands of mosques, hundreds of schools, dozens of hospitals all over the world, translated the Holy Quran in 75 languages. And in the true spirit of Islam, we formed and continue to operate a disaster relief and development NGO, Humanity First, which has sent volunteers to help in all major disasters worldwide, including here in the United States, most recently in Gaza. Humanity First provides life-saving treatment. And we have also held over 2,500 blood drives and collected over 70,000 pints of blood every year as part of our Muslims for Life blood drive campaign to honor the victims of 9/11. Today, our community has gathered again to share our message of peace, love, and tolerance to our friends and neighbors in Southern California. And as was mentioned, the theme of today's session is the Holy Quran's teachings on global peace and unity. As we gather here, we have a diverse crowd here, a diverse array of interfaith leaders, members of religious congregations, and we reflect as we gather here towards the end of 2025 on the urgent need for unity despite our ideological, religious, or political differences. We have gathered over 2,000 convention delegates from over 20 states, as I mentioned. But if you look around this room, the message of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is one that embraces all of humanity. So now, as is our tradition, I'll invite a few of our guest speakers to take the stage, and I'll begin with the Honorable Susan Rubio, who represents California's 22nd Senate District, our state senator, which spans part of Los Angeles and San Bernardino County, including Baitul Hameed Mosque here in Chino, and includes over 1 million residents. She was elected in 2018, re-elected in 2022. She previously worked for 17 years as a public school teacher and 13 years as an elected official for the city of Baldwin Park. She serves as Assistant Majority Whip, and she's the first Latina chair of the Senate Insurance Committee and is a leading voice on public safety, education, and community well-being. We welcome Senator Rubio for first time at Baitul Hameed Mosque and to Jalsa.
Good evening. What an honor to be here today. First of all, let me just say how honored I am to represent you as your state senate. And just sitting here today, I have learned so much, especially from the teachings of the Quran. So I want to thank the previous speaker for the lessons, for what I heard. And it was really incredibly enlightening for me to see that we're not very different. And there's so much that I'm going to take away from today's teaching. I don't think I've ever heard something so beautiful in a way that I could understand it. The message was very clear to me. And what I took away from him as he was speaking about the Quran is the statement, the difference of opinion is a blessing to society. That is beautiful. It is really rooted in respect for one another and respect for each other, our communities, different faiths, being able to come together from different parts, not only of our cities, our state, but the country. As I already heard, there's people here from 20 different states and many different countries. So I want to say thank you for the honor of standing here before you with the ability to say a few words. And I want to just say how thankful I am to be invited to this annual convention, the 38th West Coast Jalsa Salana celebration of unity. And unity is really what I keep hearing over and over again. And I think that we can take that and continue to use it every day as we run into different people in our communities. I think we'd be better people for it. So I did spend 17 years in the classroom. And when you're a classroom teacher in the state of California, you see people from every walk of life. And we are taught to really listen, to really understand everyone's cultures, to see where they're coming from, to really listen to their needs, which transcends to the needs of the communities. And so again, I'm honored to be here because I have already seen how beautiful it is to impart our messages to our youth. Last month, in the month of November, I was blessed enough to be able to feed 1,500 families for Thanksgiving, and it was this community who came to the rescue. The youth of this community volunteered, participated, and really showed me what unity and community is all about. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for helping me distribute all the food to our communities. And I see that they're learning so much from coming together here with all of you. So again, I just want to say thank you. And I know that just the spirit of service is not all that you do. I just heard all you do in terms of collecting donations, blood donations, saving lives, giving of your time and service to others, which is really the key to coexisting, making sure it's not all about ourselves, but that it's about others as well, that we pay it forward, that we use what we can, our resources, our time, our teachings, to make sure that others are okay as well. So again, I'm so honored to be here with all of you, as I have witnessed firsthand everything that you do for the communities. And right here in your presence, I just want to say that I recommit myself to your teachings, and that is always being open to listen to diversity, to different people's perspectives. And again, I've never heard someone explain the Quran so beautifully and so simply. And at the end of the day, we see that we're all the same. I want to share with you that only someone like me can come here today and stand before you. I was born in Mexico, and I was deported at the age of 5 with my entire family. And here I am, a young Mexican little girl deported at the age of 5 in the state of California, the state senator for one of the largest states in the country, in your Muslim mosque. So I want to say thank you for this invitation. Thank you for embracing me. Thank you for allowing me to come and say a few words. It's really important that I also open my doors to all of you and say, we're here in brotherhood and sisterhood, because what affects you affects me, and what affects me, I'm sure affects you. And we're here to give of ourselves to make sure that our message is positive, that our alliances work for the purpose of helping others. And I could not be more proud, as I mentioned, to be your state senator in this city. And I want to make sure that I also recognize the work that all of you do here today. And I want to make sure that I give you a sense of me, of who I am and what I stand for. You already know where I came from, being a young child being deported. And as we see around the world today, we see so many families being separated because of where they come from. I experienced that in the 70s, and it doesn't get any easier. My heart hurts when I see families being torn apart. My heart hurts when I see families that can't afford food. And my heart hurts when I see other people not treated respectfully. And I want to just say thank you for allowing me to speak with you today. It's always my mission to do, in a small part, what you do, and that is always care for others, of course, in a much smaller way. So thank you for everything that you do here today. You know, we all share a moral responsibility to work together to reduce human suffering. And together, I think that we could continue to take care of others that need us the most. I commend your Voices of Peace campaign. As parents, as families, as human beings, we must come together to protect all our children, whether they're here in the state of California, in the city, or in Gaza. It does not matter. I think that children are the most precious things we could have on this earth, and we need to do what we can to speak up when we see the suffering around the world. I think that is part of our shared humanity. I want to thank the leadership in this organization. Your service, your unwavering commitment to peace really is incredibly important, and I admire you all for it. I want to say once again to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA, thank you for bringing me here with you today. I'm honored to be in your presence. I'm honored to serve you and represent you. And I'm honored to have witnessed your youth come to my rescue when we needed volunteers. And I'm here to be of service to you if ever you need it from me. So if I may take a few more minutes of privilege, I'd like to make sure that I honor the community, and I'd like to invite your leader to receive a certificate on behalf of the State Senate. And it reads, on behalf of the California State Senate, it is my honor to recognize your 38th Annual West Coast USA Jalsa Salana held in Chino, California. I applaud your commitment to interfaith peace and harmony, and for your service to the communities throughout the Inland Empire and across the United States. Thank you for enriching this region and strengthening our families and communities. And this is for the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA. So I'd like to honor you with this recognition. Thank you so very much. Here we go. Oh, you want to take a picture? And separately, I would like to give one to Baitul Hameed Mosque as well. And so I would like to also make sure that you receive the other one as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. God bless, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Rubio. Really appreciate those gracious words. Our next speaker is the Honorable Bill Velto. He was elected mayor of the city of Upland 4 years ago in 2020. He's been a resident of Upland for over 60 years, served in the U.S. Navy, just an amazing public servant, and a very dear friend of our community and a regular to Jalsa Salana.
Respected guests, beloved members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, friends and well-wishers, assalamu alaikum. It's an immense honor to stand before you today at the 38th West Coast Jalsa Salana, an event that celebrates your faith, our unity, and our commitment to principles that are timeless: peace, compassion, and understanding. This year's theme, love for all, hatred for none, is not just a phrase. It's a call to action. It's a guiding light. And it's a principle that can transform not only our communities, but the world. Your beloved founder, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, peace be upon him, taught that love is the foundation of all human relationships. Hatred, on the other hand, destroys, it divides, and it darkens the human heart. In today's world, divisions are everywhere, among families, communities, and nations. And the cost of hatred is real, but love heals. Love bridges gaps. Love changes hearts. To love all does not mean ignoring justice. It does not mean compromising our values. Rather, it's a conscious choice. A choice to see the humanity in every person. A choice to respond with anger with patience. A choice to replace resentment with compassion. When we love God, we cannot hate His creation. When our hearts are filled with compassion, hatred has no place to dwell. History shows us the power of love. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, forgave even his fiercest enemies. Through forgiveness, communities were healed, hearts were transformed, and peace prevailed. Similarly, the promised Messiah, peace be upon him, faced persecution, slander, and hostility. Yet his response was never retaliation. His response was patience, dialogue, and moral integrity. This is the example we're called to follow, not only in hardship, but in our daily lives. So how do we live this principle of love all and hatred for none in our everyday lives? It begins with small acts of kindness, a kind word, a helping hand, a comforting gesture. It begins with serving the poor, supporting the lonely, and extending friendship to those who may not share our beliefs. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, is a seed of love. And seeds, when nurtured, grow into understanding, peace, and harmony. Love for all requires justice. It does not mean accepting wrongdoing. It does not mean ignoring injustice. True love acts with fairness, integrity, and the goal of reconciliation. Let us say it together. Love for all, hatred for none. Here at this Jalsa, we're reminded that the world desperately needs this message. Across the globe, we see division, misunderstanding, and mistrust. And yet, the teachings of the Muhammad Messiah, peace be upon him, shine like a beacon. Love is stronger than hatred. Compassion is stronger than cruelty. Unity is stronger than division. As we gather today, let us ask ourselves, how can we embody this principle in our own lives? How can we be examples of love for all and champions of hatred for none? And it begins with our hearts. It begins with examining our own thoughts and intentions. It extends to our families, our communities, and the wider world. Every smile, every act of service, every word spoken with sincerity contributes to a more loving and peaceful world. Beloved friends, the call of Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, peace be upon him, is as urgent today as it was over a century ago. The world needs love, understanding, and spiritual guidance. Each of us has a role to play. Each of us can be a messenger of peace. And it begins with this simple, powerful principle. Love for all, hatred for none. May Allah guide us to live by these words. May He fill our hearts with love, our minds with understanding, and our world. And may the message of the promised Messiah, peace be upon him, continue to inspire us, remind us that true faith manifests in love for humanity and that hatred has no place in the heart of a believer. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Mayor Velto. Very beautiful reflections. Our next speaker is the Honorable Olegario Ollie de Cantos the seventh. He serves as the Mayor Pro Tem for the city of West Covina and is the City Council's first member of Filipino descent, the first blind person and individual with a visible disability ever to be elected to the council. A former federal prosecutor, civil rights lawyer, Mayor Cantos is a longtime public servant and is widely respected for his dedication to community service and ethical leadership. I was exchanging texts with my dear friend, Ollie, And he mentioned to me as he was being dropped off that this is the first time ever he's stepped foot in a mosque. Welcome, Mayor. Please come to the podium and share remarks.
My new friends, good evening. Peace and blessings be upon you all. I express my respect for your Khalafit, and I also express my admiration for all of you and for all that you represent. When thinking about the reality of how God has bestowed upon us talents and abilities and skills that separate us as being unique from anyone who has ever existed or who will ever exist again. We recognize how our shared love for the principles of life and justice and peace and compassion are universal principles that bind us all together, no matter what our racial backgrounds may be, no matter from where, from throughout the world, from whence we come, no matter whether we have a visible or invisible disability or not, and no matter what experiences we have had in our respective lives, we also recognize the fact that as we commit ourselves to hope, peace, and justice in an ecumenical spirit of love, trust, and understanding, we may strive together each and every day to build a better and brighter world. Your Jalsa Salana, with 38 years of history, and for all that you have done through the years to build dialogue all across this country, has made a difference in showing the world how we, across all faith traditions, bound and determined to recognize the value in each person, may indeed plant new seeds of peace and hope and understanding and love. All too frequently, there are those in the broader community who may seek to divide us by building and putting into place false barriers that paint the picture that we actually are not in a situation where we may truly unite together. They look for differences and use those differences to leverage messages of hate and mistrust and injustice. But through this conference and through all those who hear the words of everyone presenting throughout these sessions, we also see that the counterpoint to all of that is how we each live our lives according to the principles of love and life and social justice and fairness and a commitment to equality, as well as our love and embrace of every single person embracing those differences as part of a broader tapestry that make us all stronger together. We have different faith traditions. The Jews have the Torah. We Christians have the Bible. You have the Quran. And in the Quran, the wonderful principles of the sanctity of life and compassion and justice are the very universal principles that people from across different faith communities also embrace. So what do we do with this commitment? How do we build deeper bridges of understanding? The answer is simple and profound. It is through our individual words and actions that demonstrate a genuine love for our fellow human beings. It is through an ongoing spirit of learning in which we may all, and I do mean all, learn from one another, identify the many, many priceless character traits that make us who we are, that we appreciate in others, and also recognizing how that same spirit of mutual love is what builds the kind of world community that will empower each and every one of us, every man, woman, and child on this earth, to build bonds that bind. And with those bonds that bind us together, we concurrently ensure that we will look for injustices wherever they are to resolve those through our own actions. We will identify those who are in need and will strive to meet those needs by also bringing others alongside us to join alongside us in meeting those needs. And even after all of that, we give praise to the one God. We give praise in recognizing that it is under that one God, who we serve and who we love and who loves us, that we will indeed build a better and brighter community. My commitment this evening is that this evening will mark for me the beginning of a lifetime of support in ways that can empower all of us to work more closely together. And as together we build, together we will help everyone to rise. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Cantos. Very uplifting words. Such a deep commitment that you've shared with all of us. Our next speaker is Joumana Silyan-Saba. She serves as the Director of Civic Participation and Human Rights for the City of Los Angeles, where she leads efforts to advance equity, inclusion, and community empowerment, works very closely with Mayor Karen Bass. She has a long and distinguished career of public service spanning 2 decades. She has instituted discrimination enforcement operations to implement Los Angeles's civil rights laws. She previously led efforts in Mayor Garcetti's Office for Public Safety and served as a senior policy analyst for the City of Los Angeles Human Relations Commission. Her work focuses on protecting civil rights, expanding access to civic engagement, and strengthening partnerships with community-based and faith-based organizations. I've enjoyed a very long-standing relationship with Joumana, and it's tremendous to have her all the way coming from a long distance to be here this evening. Joumana?
Thank you so much, Amjad, for your kind introduction, for being a thought partner, a voice of wisdom, and for always answering my calls and my invites to join some of the most difficult conversations. It is because of you that I got to know the Ahmadiyya community, and for that I'm grateful. Assalamu alaikum. This is such a kind and thoughtful way to greet one another. The deep value of peace is profoundly interconnected across all people of faith. In the Christian liturgy, the greeting, "Peace be with you," is often referenced and repeated during prayers. Similarly, Jewish traditions offer prayers for peace. Oseh Shalom, he who makes peace, for both the Jewish people and the world. But peace is not passive. It is not conformity or submission to injustice. Rather, it is an active and constant force that drives those who believe in the righteous and moral values of love, justice, and human dignity. The Ahmadiyya community is a powerful living example of these values. I find personal affinity with the experience of the Ahmadiyya community. The history of persecution is not far from my own Armenian Syrian ancestry. We share a common experience of perseverance through civil rights abuses and injustice rooted in religious persecution, and in the stories of resilience found with diaspora communities across the globe. I am especially moved and inspired by the Ahmadiyya deeply held belief of love for all, hatred for none. His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad consistently reminds us that justice is more than just a legal right. It is a moral imperative rooted in faith. This imperative requires active fairness, equality, and prioritizing humanity's collective good over personal gain. A path he emphasizes is essential to avert global disaster. Today, values of love, justice, and peace are under siege by hate, wars, persecution, and an utter indifference to the suffering of others. The state of our global affairs in Ukraine, Gaza, Syria, the Middle East, as well as Africa and Southeast Asia, puts humanity on a path of destruction, with human dignity and the reverence of God's creation being undermined and attacked daily. This unfortunate reality has manifested itself right here in our country, in our cities, making it difficult to keep up hope as division of hate are on the rise across the board. In fact, anti-Semitism has shown a 355% increase over the last 5 years, with similar alarming trends of increased Islamophobia, particularly following October 7th. Seeds of hate expressed in hateful speech that seeks to dehumanize the other, the immigrant, the poor, and those with the least among us, fan the flames of fear, injustice, and violence. It is in this very difficult and highly charged climate of division that we must not be indifferent or complacent. we must not lose hope. We must not lose hope that we can strive for a just and peaceful future for ourselves and for others. As the late Pope Francis reminds us, that peace is not a product that is bought. It is built day by day with justice, forgiveness, and love. Today, we are all called to actively seek understanding, beginning with ourselves and extending into our local communities and cities. We are all called to actively build peace day by day, to seek and uplift justice, to foster open dialogue that leads to knowing the other rather than demanding conformity to our own beliefs. We are all called to work together to find a path towards acknowledging the wrong, correcting the harm, and finding opportunities for conciliation and forgiveness. Most of all, we are all called to this work with love. Not only to love our neighbor, but to love our enemy, a deeply held belief in my own Christian faith, and one that I strive for in my personal and professional life. I want to assure you that interfaith collaborations are possible and are a true roadmap to solutions. This year, the City of Los Angeles celebrated its 10th annual Day of Religious Pluralism, hosted multi-faith dialogues, civil rights roundtables, and brought forward a community-led human security resolution with Abrahamic and non-Abrahamic faith representation and testimony from across the spiritual spectrum, reinforcing our shared commitment to the freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. When you hear the shofar blown next to a Kong, along with the sound of the deaf, bells, and voices lifted in prayer, one begins to rejoice in the possibilities of peace and hope in each other's humanity and our unique spiritual path. At the Civil and Human Rights Department for the City of Los Angeles, we strive to not only create spaces for dialogue and understanding, we actively work to prevent discrimination through the implementation of the human rights law for the City of Los Angeles, which prohibits discrimination in the private sector on the basis of protected classes. And that includes race, ethnicity, and religion. This work would not be possible without the partnerships, collaborative conversations, but also a willingness to understand that opposing ideas can be true at the same time. The path to a peaceful future demands that we reject indifference and choose collaboration, knowing that our collective action is the only true way to avert violence and uphold human dignity. Let us leave this Jalsa gathering not just inspired by the ideals of love for all, hatred for none, but committed to active, daily work of building justice and peace in our own lives, in our communities, and in our world. And to conclude my remarks, it is my honor and my pleasure to present a certificate on behalf of the Honorable Mayor Bass. And I'll read the certificate. Certificate of recognition presented to Ahmadiyya Muslim community on the occasion of the 38th Annual West Coast Jalsa Salana, in honor of a presence that has long strengthened the spiritual and civic life of Los Angeles, rooted in sustained contributions toward peace, justice, and service to others. Through dialogue and community-focused engagement, they have fostered greater understanding and connection across diverse communities throughout the city of Los Angeles. Their consistent participation in civic life is a testament to the shared commitment to inclusion, mutual respect, and values that bolster democracy. As mayor of Los Angeles, and on behalf of its residents, I extend appreciation to the role that they have played in enriching the fabric of our great city. Signed by the Honorable Mayor Karen Bass.
Thank you, Joumana. We really thank Mayor Karen Bass for being such a terrific partner with the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Yesterday marked a special day for us at the West Coast Jalsa. We held our third annual Jalsa Cares effort. What we do is, as part of the Jalsa, we want to give back to our communities during the 3 days of Jalsa. And we began this effort several years ago. And in the course of doing it, we found a wonderful partner, God's Pantry in Pomona. And just yesterday, 37 of us went to God's Pantry in the morning, bright and early. And with the team that was present there, we, led by Enrique, we rolled up our sleeves and worked in the warehouse. And for several hours in the morning, our Jalsa volunteers, especially our children, worked with Goose's team and organization and Enrique and all of the wonderful people there. And we packed 1,000 meals to deliver to over 3,000 people. This is a small gesture, but it was done the morning after Christmas Day. And what I learned in the process of doing this, and there are so many wonderful stories shared, was that the Christian and Muslim communities here in the Inland Empire and Southern California are working together and leading by example with their deeds to serve humanity. And that is the message that we see here tonight as well. It's an honor to welcome back Augusto, Dolce, we refer to him as Goose, our dear friend, serves as executive director of God's Pantry for nearly 6 years. And he's a former pastor. He found his calling in leading this pantry, a food bank run and led by formerly incarcerated and gang-affiliated individuals. This organization is literally changing people's lives. And they distribute free groceries to over 10,000 LA County families every month. And this year we had just a small privilege to assist them, a wonderful group, and we invite Goose to share a few remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Thank you for having me up here today. I'm representing God's Pantry, a nonprofit here locally, serving a lot of the LA County and San Bernardino County. As you guys heard, yesterday we had the privilege of hosting a large group of this community, and it was wonderful seeing Christians and Muslims working together. As Amjad said, we put together a couple hundred bags, hundreds of bags of groceries that actually went out this morning to feed over 200 families in West Covina at our distribution. So as you guys were up early, I know there was a lot of volunteers here. As you guys were up early getting this ready, we had a group of volunteers in West Covina feeding over 200 families. These are families that woke up this morning not knowing where the next meal was going to come from. And they were blessed by the work of our hands together that we're able to feed them. So I just want to say I'm privileged to be here. As you guys heard, I'm the executive director of God's Pantry, or food bank. Started about 12 years ago. I've been on it for about 6 years. And we do the wonderful work of feeding the needy, people that are struggling to feed their families. And we do that work by hiring, providing gainful employment to over 200, we call them trainees, but these are individuals that are coming out of prison, coming out of the streets, they're coming out of gangs, at-risk youth. They're finding purpose, again, in serving the communities. And we also have an army of staff. We have case managers, we have mentors, we have volunteer doctors, lawyers, and they all come together to help these individuals to re-establish themselves in the community by removing barriers. We offer services from anything from housing. We house over 50 individuals every year. We do tattoo removal. We do classes, everything from anger management to domestic violence survivors to classes to getting them back into school. And we can only do this by individuals like yourselves and the partnerships that we have together. So again, like I mentioned, it was beautiful seeing our communities working together. I'm looking forward to coming back. This is my second year, but I also look forward to a meal that we're going to share, hopefully after this, because I can't think of anything better than sharing a meal. I mean, when we share the work, that builds partnerships. When we share a meal, we're building friendships, and I look forward to many, many years of this friendship. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Goose. Yes, we're very close to dinner. We are so grateful to God's Pantry and all of God's Pantry's teams here tonight. A lot of people came, and we're just so grateful with this partnership. Thank you. Our final speaker is a very dear friend of our community, Professor Heather Ferguson. She's Associate Professor of Ottoman and Middle East History at Claremont McKenna College, my alma mater. And now she's the director of the Mgrublian Center for Human Rights, a first-rate human rights center, nationally recognized. And she has taught at Claremont McKenna since 2011. She received her MA in Middle Eastern Studies from UT Austin, completed her PhD from Berkeley, held a 2-year postdoctoral position at Stanford with the Abbasi program in Islamic Studies. She's the author of one book published by Stanford University Press in 2018. She's working on a second book and many, many other things as I've got to know Heather. Her research focuses broadly on comparative early modern empires, documentary genres, and discourses of power, and legal and urban transformations around the Mediterranean. We're especially pleased to have her return to Jalsa again in light of the continuing conflict in the Middle East. Professor Ferguson?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you once again for the honor of speaking with you tonight and learning with and from you about the all-important Quranic themes of global peace and unity in a world torn apart by the antagonisms of difference. I carry with me the messages of past Jalsas spent with the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, a community that has welcomed me and my family into their midst. This past July, I spoke at the Richmond National Jalsa and affixed the love for all, hate for none pin to the bag that accompanies me every day to school, to the grocery store, to random outings in the world. I like to think it is my way of dispersing the love and kindness collected in the short hours spent in your company out into my varied environments. I also come here today to speak with you in the name of my profession, as our state senator did before us, education and from within my teaching and research specialties, the history of global Islam, the Ottoman Empire, and the Middle East. But most importantly, I come in the posture of humility, as I consider teaching not just a vocation, but also as a persistent state of learning from my students and of listening out for the quiet messages of others in a world beset by cacophonous noise that masks suffering and sorrow, but also hopeful actions that build toward a just future. Teaching is an intentional act and an aspirational one, a hope that learning is also opening windows into possible horizons of unity and peace. It is a method for bringing joy, wonder, and curiosity into the world, as together with my students, we reach across vast differences of time and geography to stand transfixed by the unities evident beneath the superficial differences. But we also learn how to recognize different ways of being in the world, to respect and value them for enhancing us through hybridity and diversity. Different foods, traditions, dress, but also different ways of praying to a universal God that reminds us to bring love into each daily encounter with others. When I speak here with you in December, I have often just finished teaching my early Islamic history survey. The syllabus starts with a portion of Surah 103 and a poem by Moja Kaf. The surah is meant to awaken in students a different approach to Islam from the one they often walk into the classroom with, full of the derogatory stereotypes fed to them by mainstream media and tropes in the entertainment industry that dehumanize and trivialize. And so the first thing they see on the first PowerPoint slide are these transformative and revelatory words. By the age, by the epoch, the human is always at a loss, except those who keep the faith, who work justice, who counsel one another to truth, and counsel one another to patience. The human is at a loss except those who keep the faith and work justice. This is the path to unity, not by collapsing difference, but rather by learning across difference and working toward a vision and thus a world capable of enacting justice through our own behaviors. Unity is thus a practice, a way of being in the world, and it requires patience, especially in the classroom when steering young students through new ways of knowing the world around them. The poem by Moja Kaf is itself a form of counter-speech to stereotype. It claims the right to belong while encountering prejudice when just trying to buy milk, open a bank account, get insurance. No, I'm not bald beneath this scarf, she says. No, I would not like to defect. I'm already American, she asserts. Yes, I speak English, she huffs. It is a short poem, just 16 lines, but the end contains a twist. Wait for its power as she turns yet another stereotype, this time of violence, on its head. Yes, I carry explosives. They're called words. And if you don't get up off your assumptions, they're going to blow you away. Moja Kaf reminds us to counter stereotypes of difference through words that enact a new message to the world, one that reaches for peace through solidarity, one that lets our assumptions fall so that we can embrace the possibility of a unified vision for a liberated future, a future liberated from the violence that besets the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Pakistan, the Sudanese at the hands of the RSF, the Palestinians facing ethnic cleansing and genocidal violence via military and settler actions born of hate. In the face of all this, we must keep the faith, and we must work justice in our daily lives with unrelenting conviction that another world is possible. To conclude, I would like to share the words of a first-year student who wrote in his reflective essay on the final project, a teach-in shared with friends and family, rendering classroom knowledge public knowledge. He writes, "One of the most important takeaways from this course was learning to resist us versus them frameworks. I learned how to confront my own assumptions and recognize how easily distance and abstraction can obscure complexity and humanity. This course taught me that studying history is about learning how to listen more carefully, question dominant narratives, and remain open to perspectives that complicate my own. It emphasized that understanding the world requires humility, engagement, and an ongoing commitment to resisting simplification." It was a hard semester for me, this is my words now, but these words reminded me of why I teach and why we, together, work toward unity and peace. Thank you again, each and every one of you, for being in community with me through the dark times, so together we might find love for all.
Thank you, Professor Ferguson. Very befitting, beautiful words to close today's proceedings. I just wanted to present some acknowledgments. We are so indebted to so many people who help us, and I want to acknowledge our police chiefs who are here. It's very nice to see Chief Marcelo Blanco, the Upland Police Department, also Chino Police Chief Kevin Menson. I really love the Latino Roundtable and the professors who come and are members of that community that always attend our Jalsa. I want to acknowledge our interfaith partners from the Sikh, Jewish, Mormon, Christian communities, the Church of Scientology who is here, so many different friends of the community, the Buddhist community, students who are here in the audience. I know there are several from surrounding colleges and universities. Thank all of you for coming to this Jalsa. I now turn the stage back to our National Vice President.